But let's get you the latest first, which is coming in from Karnataka in the Rania Rao gold smuggling case, where another person has been arrested. In the Rania Rao gold smuggling case, the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence has just arrested Sahil Jain for his alleged role in disposing of the smuggled gold linked to Rania Rao. Sahil was produced before a magistrate at his residence late last night, following which the DRI secured 4 days of custody for further investigations. Sources telling India Today that Sahil is a key link in uncovering the broader smuggling network. So first it was the actor, Ranya Rao. Now we are getting news that there's been another arrest in this case of this major gold smuggling that took place. Remember, Ranya Rao was caught while she was travelling out from Bengaluru airport on her way to Dubai, where she was making several trips. Sagai Raj, our correspondent in Bengaluru, is joining me with the very latest. Sagai, give us more details of who has been arrested, what Sahil Jain's connect is to Rania Rao.
So in the investigation, the accused have revealed that they had connection with Sahil Jain, and there was also technical evidence, including the call log of Rania Rao as well as her partner in this particular case. And subsequently, he was being summoned and he was being questioned. And what we also get to learn through our sources is that he might be the person who might have involved in disposing the gold. He is from Bellary, and they have informed their father as well that his son has been arrested in this particular case, and he's been taken into custody for 4 days. He was produced yesterday in the magistrate, and the judge has given 4 days of custody to the DRA, and DRA will continue the investigation. The sources have told India Today that Sahil was the main person who was getting the gold, and he was the person who was disposing it in Bengaluru.
But who is Sahil Jain? What does he do?
According to sources, he is one of those person who is into gold business. He runs a jewelry shop, but it is all subject to investigation. These are the source-based information that we get to learn, that he had a gold business in Bellary. His father is from Bellary, and probably he is the person who was taking the gold. He is one of the person who was getting this particular gold through Ranya.
Okay. Sagai Raj telling us more details. Clearly, this will continue to develop the story of the gold smuggling case involving an actor, Rania Rao, there in Bengaluru. Let's turn to our top political story today, where the Lok Sabha saw some more drama. This time, a direct face-off between Speaker Om Birla and the Congress's leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi. The Speaker claimed that the leader of the opposition was not observing the decorum of the House, did not allow Rahul Gandhi to speak, and instead adjourned the House. Rahul Gandhi hit back, saying that the Speaker is silencing him and not giving him an opportunity to speak on multiple occasions. It has sharply escalated now into a bitter face-off between the Speaker and the leader of the opposition, with 70 Congress MPs reaching the door of the Speaker, claiming that the opposition is not being allowed to speak in the Lok Sabha. Is Rahul Gandhi being gagged, or is he protesting too much? Take a look.
आप सबसे अपेक्षा की जाती है कि आप सदन में सदन की मर्यादा और शालीनता के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखें। सदन में मेरे संज्ञान में ऐसी कई घटनाएं हैं जब माननीय सदस्यों के आसन सदन की उच्च परंपराओं मापदंडों के अनुरूप नहीं है। इस सदन में पिता पुत्री माँ बेटी पति पत्नी सदस्य रहें। विशेष रूप से प्रतिपक्ष के नेता से तो ये अपेक्षा की जाती है कि वो आचरण रखे।
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla ticking off members, especially the leader of opposition, right before he adjourned the House on Wednesday afternoon. The Speaker, however, did not mention what prompted him to reprimand the member. Congress MP Rahul Gandhi wanted to speak but did not get the opportunity.
सदन की कार्रवाई 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
70 Congress MPs met the Speaker and registered their objection. A little later, Rahul Gandhi, speaking to the media, accused the Speaker of not allowing him to speak.
After he said that, I said, look, as LOP, let me speak. Let me say what he just ran away. So I don't understand what is going on. This is no way to run the House, frankly. I mean, literally, speaker उठ के मतलब एकदम निकल गए मुझे मतलब एक शब्द नहीं बोलने दिया. और पहले मेरे बारे में कुछ बोलने हैं, वो भी बिल्कुल पता नहीं क्या बोला, अनसब्सटेंशिएटेड। आपने मेरे बारे में कुछ बोला है, घूम कर चले गए और कोई मतलब अर्जन कर दिया, कोई जरूरत नहीं थी।
Rahul Gandhi claimed it was the speaker who wasn't following convention.
देखिए, मुझे हाउस में लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन को एक कन्वेंशन है कि बोलने दिया जाता है। जब भी मैं खड़ा होता हूँ मुझे बोलने नहीं दिया जाता, ठीक है? तो पता नहीं मतलब ये किस प्रकार से हाउस चल रहा है। जो हम कहना चाहते हैं हमें कहने नहीं देते।
आप सबसे अपेक्षा की जाती है कि आप सदन में सदन की मर्यादा और शालीनता के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखें।
Though the Speaker, Om Birla, did not mention the reason for his displeasure, the BJP shared this message on social media, highlighting an exchange between Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi.
इस सदन में पिता पुत्री माँ बेटी पति पत्नी सदस्य रहें।
The budget session of Parliament has been relatively productive, with no major disruption so far. So is the face-off between the leader of opposition and the Speaker just a storm in the teacup? Bureau Report, India Today.
Let me go first straight across to PDT Achari, former Lok Sabha Secretary General, to understand whether Rahul Gandhi, as the leader of the opposition, has the right to speak every time he gets up in Parliament. PDT Achari, that's the claim which the opposition is making, that Rahul Gandhi, as leader of the opposition, must be given the privilege of speaking when he is on his feet. The Speaker did not allow him to speak, and this is not the first time that's happened. Last week he wanted to speak on the Kumbh Mela. He wasn't allowed to speak. Do you believe that Rahul Gandhi has a case, or does he protest too much?
Well, I must say that the leader of the opposition in a legislature has certain privileges. The first thing is that he can intervene in the House whenever he wants. And the Speaker normally, that is the convention. There is nothing in, there is no rule or anything. But the convention is that the Speaker will allow the leader of the opposition to make his observation. That has been the convention, I think, the world over.
No, you're saying it's the convention, not the rule. Let me get that clear. You're saying the convention is that if the leader of the opposition gets up on his feet, even in 0 hour or question hour or at any stage in the debate, the Speaker allows him to have a word in. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, that is the convention. But there is no rule about it. That is the convention the world over.
Does that mean irrespective? Because the charge which is being made is Rahul Gandhi was not observing the decorum. Sources are telling us that he was speaking to his fellow MPs while the debate was on. Is that, or can the Speaker take the line that the leader of the opposition is not observing decorum? Or has the Speaker gone too far?
Well, I do not want to judge what the Speaker has said. The point is, when something happens in the House, in full view of the House, or when the Speaker observes something happening in the House, then naturally the Speaker will take notice of that. And if there is something which goes on in the House, which is against the decorum or which is undignified and things like that, then the Speaker certainly has a right to make observations about it, and he can bring it to the notice of the House and the members about that. But here I do not know what exactly has happened.
But do you believe that the Speaker in general, I'm asking you now, you've been observing this present Lok Sabha, Om Birla has been Speaker now for 6 years. Is there a sense you get that he is biased against the opposition, does not give them enough time to speak? Because Rahul Gandhi is not the first opposition leader to question Om Birla and the way he's handling Parliament.
Well, I, as a former Secretary General, I do not sit in judgment on the way the Speaker conducts the House. That is something which
Yes.
That the Speaker is an experienced person, and he knows how to conduct the House proceedings of the House. But here, if there is a problem, the leader of the opposition feels aggrieved about a particular thing which the speaker does, or the way the speaker behaves, or the speaker conducts the proceedings, he can bring it to the notice of the speaker. That is what normally is done, either in the House, or maybe he can have a chat with the speaker in his chamber and register his protest.
Does the speaker have is the speaker the ultimate authority? That once the speaker has given a particular ruling, neither Rahul Gandhi or, dare I say, even Prime Minister Modi, no one can question the speaker's ruling.
Well, that is the convention. The speaker's ruling is final on a particular matter, and nobody can question the ruling. But of course, after the speaker has given a ruling, a member can seek a clarification. He cannot challenge the ruling of the speaker. But here, the speaker has not given any ruling on a particular matter. Speaker has made an observation, and it is not very clear whether somebody has given a notice to the speaker, drawing his attention to something which has happened in the House or outside. That is not very clear. Normally, let me complete that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Normally, the speaker makes such observations in the House on the basis of some notice which is given to him by a member. And then the House must know, House has the right to know the full facts about it. Who has given the notice, and what is the matter, and against which member it has been given. All these matters, should be known to the House, and also the context. But here,
so you're saying the speaker will have to give clarity as to why he didn't allow Rahul Gandhi to speak. He will have to give the context, whether this was based on any complaint, what was the reason, A. B. If so, does Rahul Gandhi have any forum where he can claim to have been aggrieved beyond going and meeting the speaker personally? Is there any other forum, any other way, if he claims he's being gagged?
Well, there is no other way, either because Honorable Speaker has made this observation in the House. Certainly, he has a right, as a leader of the opposition, he has a right to raise this matter in the House and draw the attention of the Honorable Speaker to this. And he can say whatever he thinks about it.
Okay.
So that is the way, that is the normal way.
The conventions, you're saying, therefore, very clearly are when the leader of the opposition is on his feet, he should in normal course be allowed to speak. But the speaker also has the final word, and therefore Rahul Gandhi versus the speaker has become a testy issue. I appreciate you joining me, PDT Achari, to tell us what the conventions of the Lok Sabha are. Let's raise the big questions then. Is the Lok Sabha speaker biased against Rahul Gandhi as the Congress claims? Is there no level playing field in Parliament? Is the BJP justified in claiming that Rahul Gandhi is someone who's treating Parliament casually? These are some of the questions I will raise. Joining me now is Sujata Paul. She's spokesperson of the Congress. We also are joined by Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. First to you, Sujata Paul. The fact is, Rahul Gandhi is claiming that he hasn't been allowed to speak by Om Birla. Is Rahul Gandhi protesting too much? Is the question we are raising at one level. What is the specific charge that you are making?
What is the job of the opposition and the leader of opposition? To raise issues of the people of this nation so that there is redressal of their grievances, also to bring certain issues to the parliament so that the government's power can remain in check. This is what an opposition is supposed to be doing. The leader of opposition, as per convention, as you discussed with Mr. PDT Achari, it has been the norm that the leader of opposition, whenever he's on his feet, he will be allowed to speak. But why is it that this is happening? There is no constitutional morality in the BJP, and therefore they do not believe in the principles of democracy. Those who believe in...
No, what was the issue that... what was the issue that Rahul Gandhi wanted to raise with such urgency? Because let's be very clear, one of the charges against Rahul Gandhi is that he has not participated in enough parliament debates. When I look at the numbers, Rahul Gandhi's numbers of participation in many debates are well below that of an average MP.
Sardesai, if Rahul Gandhi is not being allowed to speak, how can you question what has happened in the past? He hasn't been allowed to speak as leader of opposition today. He wasn't allowed to speak when the Prime Minister was speaking on the Kumbh. When Rahul Gandhi wants to raise issues of people's concern, he's not allowed to speak when he wants to talk about unemployment, when he talks about the issues that are plaguing this country today, the economy of this country. Why is the government not willing to listen? And I'll tell you why. Because if you remember that the Prime Minister was so offended when he took Mr. Adani's name in Parliament that after that all cases were speeded up and he was convicted. Do you remember that? And after that, how is it that the Prime Minister will allow Mr. Rahul Gandhi to speak?
Okay.
The Speaker, why should he adjourn the House? Why should
Ma'am,
he
I have a
adjourn
fix.
and
I have a
leave?
time. I don't allow anyone now to speak for more than a minute on a particular issue. Please keep that in mind. So equal time to use therefore Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, we are still not being even given a reason by the Speaker as to why Parliament was adjourned. The Lok Sabha was adjourned. But the fact is, both last week over the Kumbh Mela and today, when Rahul Gandhi got up to speak, he was not allowed. Therefore, there is a case being made that this is a non-level playing field where the Speaker is not allowing the leader of the opposition to speak as per convention. Your response?
Rajdeep, first and foremost, the audio is extremely patchy. Am I loud and clear?
You're loud and clear, ma'am. Don't worry.
Okay, good to hear that. You know, first and foremost, let's get this very clear. Om Birla, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, is the presiding officer of the House. He decides whether members will be suspended or not, whether the House will be adjourned or not. He is the final arbiter in terms of the proceedings of the House. He is the final interpreter of parliamentary conventions and precedents on the floor of the House. And this is not Sanju Verma saying so. Article 93, 94, 95 and 96 of the Constitution, the very book which is bandied about by the opposition at every given opportunity, संविधान की लाल किताब को ऐसे ऐसे लहराते हुए राहुल गांधी मोदी सरकार को भाषण देते रहते हैं. But I need to tell your audience this. Rahul Gandhi is a leader without a cause. He's an iconoclast. And I'll tell you why. The fact of the matter is that this is the same Rahul Gandhi who talks about being victimized. मेरी आवाज को दबाने की कोशिश हो रही है. But, you know, he abuses his parliamentary privileges. Forget about being leader of the opposition. Even as a parliamentarian, I can't think of too many people who on foreign soil have said, you know what? India gave away 2,000 square kilometers on a golden platter to the Chinese. Or you know what? A large chunk of democracy is coming undone in India, and I'm surprised by the US and European Union.
But that's not an answer. Sanju Verma, you know, as I said, 1 minute each. One minute each. No, Sanju Verma, just a minute.
Don't do this
Equal
to
time.
me.
Equal time, you're not answering my question. I asked you, I gave you two specific examples where the Speaker has not allowed Rahul Gandhi to speak. Just a minute, ma'am. The Speaker has not allowed Rahul Gandhi to speak. Your answer is the Speaker as presiding office has primacy. Yes, he does. But is he being fair? In your view, Sanju Verma, is the Speaker being fair or is the Speaker biased?
Rajdeep, I have tremendous respect for you. Please showcase your neutral credentials as you tom-tom about them so often.
Your 60 seconds start.
Congress. No,
I interjected her as well. I am asking you to answer my question. I am giving you 60 seconds uninterrupted. Is the Speaker of the Lok Sabha fair or biased?
My time starts now and you will not heckle me even if you're tempted to do so. With great humility, I say that.
60 seconds.
Thank you, Rajdeep Sardesai. Yes,
yeah.
60 seconds from now. Let me repeat. Rahul Gandhi goes on foreign soil and says, large chunk of democracy has come undone in India. Piddi media, not Godi media, PIDI, Piddi media ke muh mein cervical jam jata hai. Rahul Gandhi goes on foreign soil and says, you know what, in India the Sikh community is not allowed to wear a turban, not allowed to sport a kada and not allowed to visit Gurudwaras. And what happens? Piddi media ke muh mein cervical jam jata hai. Rahul Gandhi goes on foreign soil and says, you know what? The Modi government has gifted away 2,000 square kilometers on a golden platter to China, despite Amit Shah, despite S Jaishankar, despite Prime Minister Modi, despite Rajnath Singh saying, हमने 1 inch territory नहीं दी है, टिड्डी मीडिया के मुंह में सेविकल जम जाता है. And my last point is this: Rahul Gandhi, Speaker Om Birla does not need lessons in constitutional propriety from you. Tell me, Rajdeep, with your hand on your heart, because I know you have a thinking mind, but with your hand on your heart today, tell me, how many parliamentarians can you think of who have winked, who have, ऐसे किया जाता है क्या? ये आपका ड्राइंग रूम नहीं है कि आपने किसी के गाल दबा लिए, आपने किसी
No, one minute, stop her. Ma'am, your 1 minute is up, but you just now raised something because that is quite an interesting aspect that you've just raised. No, please, 1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute, your 60 seconds are up. I have counted them, your 60 seconds are up, but I must ask you this. You just now said that Rahul Gandhi touched the cheeks, and the BJP's IT cell has put out a video of Rahul Gandhi touching the cheeks of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Now, if the Speaker of the Assembly feels, of the Parliament feels that is against decorum, he should say so. Also, the question arises, Sanju Verma, that when the Prime Minister was coming into the Lok Sabha today, all the MPs got up and started clapping, and they are also being said that are they following the decorum? This is the charge the opposition makes.
That in 30 seconds? Okay,
please go ahead.
That's a very nice question. Yes, that's a very nice question. I will tell you this. In a television news studio, it is the editor-in-chief who takes a call. And I know at prime time at 9 p.m., Rajdeep Sardesai is the boss of his show. He decides what will be aired. He decides Sanju Verma ko 2 minutes dene hain ya 20 seconds dene hain. Correct? Now on the floor of the parliament, on the floor of the Lok Sabha, Om Birla will decide. And I think it's juvenile, it's puerile of a leader. कभी किसी के गाल खींच लिए, कभी किसी को जफ्फी दे दी बिना impromptu, बिना कुछ कहे, कभी किसी को विंक कर दिया, कभी किसी को फ्लाइंग किस दे दिया. अरे थोड़ी सी डिग्निटी, मर्यादा, संयम ये होना चाहिए या नहीं? Rajdeep Sardesai asked questions today of Rahul Gandhi, not of Om Birla.
You made your point. I have allowed you more time than I have allowed the other side. Now, audio down. So, Sujata Paul, respond to what you've just heard. You see, the argument which is being made is that if Rahul Gandhi took Parliament more seriously, was there every day front bench taking on the government day after day, then he would have a much stronger case than if he isn't speaking out day after day. Then, you see, the BJP turns around and said he treats Parliament very casually.
Rajdeep, I don't think that the BJP spokesperson has answered a single question that you asked her. She ranted about what Rahul Gandhi has said on foreign soil, etc., etc. What happened, between him and his sister. These people do not respect relationships, and that's where it ends. People do not have respect for a relationship as sacred as that of a brother and sister, and that is why they come up with these frivolous issues. And this clearly proves that they do not want to see Rahul Gandhi. What I said right at the beginning. What did the BJP spokesperson say? She said that he abuses the Prime Minister. Who abuses the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister should answer how many times he has abused former Prime Ministers of the country. How many of their parliamentarians have used abusive language inside Parliament? Have you forgotten Nishikant Dubey and Ramesh Biduri? The way they have conducted themselves in Parliament? But no. Okay. Today, they have a problem with Rahul Gandhi because he talks about the real issues of the country. And that is why they are frivolizing the entire debate.
Your time also is up. Sanju Verma, you're saying that Rahul Gandhi treats Parliament casually. The question will arise, does Prime Minister Modi also treat Parliament seriously enough? Today, there was a question in Question Hour which was directed at the Prime Minister's office. Instead of the Prime Minister addressing that question, Jitendra Singh from the government did. And this is a routine practice. The Prime Minister of the country never addresses a question on Question Hour, even on Wednesday, which is the day when the Prime Minister of the country is supposed to address questions in Parliament. Instead, when he comes, there's clapping, there's Modi, Modi, Jai Shri Ram. Is that also the way Parliament should be conducted? It's not a political rally taking place in Parliament, and surely the Prime Minister must also get up to answer questions like Jawaharlal Nehru used to do when he was Prime Minister.
Rajdeep, first and foremost, let me say one thing very clearly, and now don't mute me. Prime Minister Narendra Modi does not need lessons in leadership from Rajdeep Sardesai or, some 2-bit troll in the Congress. or some two-penny spokesperson of the Congress. Now, wait. आपने इतना कुछ कहा, मैंने सुना. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on the eve of Lok Sabha 2024 elections, held 89 interviews. Unfortunately, you were not a part of those 89, so don't take out your grouse against Prime Minister Modi. और जहां तक बात जवाहरलाल नेहरू की है, wait. Now let me give you one data point because बार-बार economy की बात आती है. Today, if you
I'm asking about Parliament, ma'am, look, ma'am, I asked you a question, please answer my question.
GDP has crossed 4.3
You're not answering my question though.
India's GDP has crossed $4.3 trillion. Wait, we are going to be the world's fourth largest economy in a few months from now, overtaking Japan. But Rajdeep Sardesai के मुंह में दही जम गया है.
बिल्कुल नहीं, राजदीप सरदेसाई सवाल पूछते हैं. राजदीप सरदेसाई को हिम्मत है कि सबसे सवाल पूछे, वो हिम्मत है. मैं 60 साल का होने वाला हूं, हिम्मत है मुझ में. मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं एक सवाल आज. मैं आपसे सवाल पूछ रहा हूं, व्हाई डज द प्राइम मिनिस्टर नॉट आंसर क्वेश्चंस इन क्वेश्चन आवर? राहुल गांधी ट्रीट्स पार्लियामेंट कैजुअली. हाउ डज द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ट्रीट पार्लियामेंट? आंसर माय क्वेश्चन.
Yes. The point is, look at you, how intolerant you are. You constantly heckle me. Please keep quiet.
Ma'am, I'm asking the other side also questions.
Now let me finish. Don't heckle me now, please. Very, patiently.
30 seconds. 30 seconds uninterrupted.
No, 60 seconds uninterrupted, and you will not give in to temptation. संजू वर्मा बोलना चालू करके आपके पेट में दर्द होना चालू हो जाता है, राजदीप जी. पता नहीं.
No, she has to answer my questions.
I will tell what I need to say because I have seen Congress spokespersons topic कुछ भी हो. Adani. अरे भाई साहब, Adani was indicted by a US court, not convicted. If indicted means being convicted, Sonia Gandhi is indicted in the National Herald scam. Rahul Gandhi is indicted in the National Herald scam. P. Chidambaram is indicted in the INX media scam. Arvind Kejriwal is indicted in the liquor scam. Tejasvi Yadav is indicted in the IRCTC.
What is this debate?
Abhishek Banerjee is indicted in the cash.
Madam, please wait, Sujata ji.
Let me come to the main point. I always believe, Rajdeep, in 20 seconds, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Actions speak louder than words. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has shown Jan Dhan Yojana, world's largest financial inclusion scheme. Rajdeep Sardesai के मुंह में दही जम जाता है. आयुष्मान भारत, world's largest healthcare insurance scheme. Rajdeep Sardesai ने कभी इस पर बात नहीं की,
Okay,
पर दही जम गया. मुद्रा योजना,
ma'am, your time is up. No, दही जम जाता है. I asked you a question. आपके मुंह में दही जम जाता है. You don't answer my question. Why does the Prime Minister not take question in question hour? But okay, volume down. I want to come to you, Sujata. Sujata, Paul, I want to understand from you. I gave the numbers of Rahul Gandhi, how many debates has he participated in, how many questions. I repeat my charge. Rahul Gandhi needs to lead from the front. In 2014, he did not become leader of the opposition. He chose to be a backbencher. Ditto 2019, now in 2024, as leader of the opposition, he should be there every day taking up the debates. If he does that, automatically his stature will rise, whether the speaker tries to allow him or intervenes in what he says.
Aren't you innocent, Rajdeep? You know very well that the Prime Minister, once he's decided that he doesn't want to see somebody's face, he's adamant about it, and he'll go to any extent to ensure that that person doesn't come before him. As far as Rahul
Gandhi, are you saying that the Prime Minister is influencing Om Birla? Is that the charge you are making?
That Mr. Om Birla should answer, because this is a question that I'm asking Mr. Om Birla directly through your platform today. As to why is he not allowing the leader of opposition to speak? Because dissent is vital to this democracy of ours, and he is undermining our democracy by stifling the voice of dissent, which will be raised over there to prevent majority tyranny in this nation, which is happening today in the parliament. And we will not allow it. The leader of opposition will not allow it. But when you talk about, the interviews, as the BJP spokesperson spoke about, 89 staged interviews is what we saw. We saw the Prime Minister dividing the country during the Lok Sabha campaign when he spoke about the mujras, etc. But when you talk about Parliament today, the leader of opposition is a space which has been reserved for the opposition, for the voices of the people, and the Prime Minister does not want to hear any voice other than his own. He
Okay,
also does
you've made
not
your
attend
point.
Parliament
I've heard you. Your
regularly. I
time is
repeat
out.
it.
You claim the Prime Minister does not want to hear any voice other than his own. Sanju Verma, on the other hand, claims the Prime Minister's actions speak louder than words. Either way, what we've seen in Parliament is unfortunate. The convention is that when the leader of the opposition is on his feet, he's allowed to speak. Om Birla will eventually have to answer the question, why did he not allow Rahul Gandhi to speak, both last week on the Kumbh Mela and today when he got up to respond? Is the opposition leader therefore justified in claiming that he is being gagged? Big focus. The April 2 deadline set by US President Donald Trump for reciprocal tariffs is looming. Today, India and US began their formal bilateral trade negotiations in the national capital. Assistant US Trade Representative Brendan Lynch is leading the American trade delegation for the talks that could last as many as 5 days. External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar met the US Chamber of Commerce CEO Suzanne Clark. Jaishankar later claiming that active and intense negotiations are underway between India and the US. The big question is, will the two sides be able to reach some kind of a trade agreement? Remember, let's listen in to what they had to say.
On trade, we had a very open discussion. And the result of that discussion was that the Prime Minister and the President agreed that we would conclude, you rightly said, not a free trade agreement, but a bilateral trade agreement by fall this year. And that is what is currently under discussion. We have a team here, by the way, they're not it's not that they are kicking off the discussion. My colleague, the Trade Minister, the Commerce Minister was in the US last month. And since then, actually, we've been working the trade account through virtual means. So there's a very active and intense trade discussion going on at this point of time.
Let me go straight across to Business Today TV's Chetan Bhutani to find out the very latest. Chetan, we're now told that the talks could go on as long as 5 days. What do you know is on the table in these talks between India and United States when it comes to tariffs?
Well, Rajdeep, initial talks have just begun, but what 3 to 4 agenda items my government sources have told me is the fact that American bourbon, whiskey, California wine, and Harley Davidson motorcycles is what the US trade authorities have been looking after from India to provide a further relief. In fact, India-US trade officials are in talks for further tariff reductions, and my sources have been telling me that the Indian government is further now opening up to reduce those duties. In fact, in the budget, we saw that the duty on a bourbon whiskey was cut from about 150% to 100% earlier, and discussions include increasing US exports of pharmaceuticals and chemicals to India as well. In fact, we also saw that tariffs on Harley Davidson motorcycles were reduced from 50% to 40% as well in the budget. Well, then India's imports from the US of the pharmaceutical products is also very significant. We saw an increase of 78 to 88% from 223,000 crores in 2021 to about 4 lakh crores in 2021, which apparently decreased to 27% and subsequently increased to 10% in 2024. Now we are expecting that the government will be opening up the sectors for these 3 to 4 immediately, so that the reciprocal tariffs which come into effect on April 2 have a little subsiding effect, and eventually the talks for bilateral trade and of course the treaties must go on time.
So what you're suggesting, phase by phase, it's high-end motorcycles, for example, like Harley Davidson's, and indeed whiskey products, which could be on the table for now when it comes to tariff reductions. We'll wait and see how that goes. Chetan, thanks very much for joining me. I want to go straight across now to Dr. Anup Wadhwan. He's former Commerce Secretary. He's dealt with the United States on trade talks in the past. Dr. Wadhwan, your sense of these trade negotiations that have begun, it seems under pressure from Donald Trump and the US administration putting that April 2 deadline where he plans to bring in reciprocal tariffs. We've already cut tariffs on high-end motorcycles, on whiskies. Do you see this now all happening in a phased manner? How do you see this play out?
Yeah, so I think they are trying to work out the framework within which the negotiations will happen. They're trying to work out the entire scope of the negotiations. So that is a starting point. And of course, there is some element of pressure in this, but in some ways it's a logical, restart to the negotiations we had during President Trump's first term. And I think India is as interested as the US is in resolving this sort of trade friction that is there between us.
But what about the key areas like pharmaceuticals, agriculture products, where India's interests could be affected by any kind of tariff wars or pushing us to for tariff reductions? Should we be concerned about what could happen?
Right, so those will be our asks. We'll have some asks also in a trade agreement. And by definition, a trade agreement is supposed to be balanced and mutually beneficial. So while they have some ambitions, for exporting certain products to India, we'll have similar ambitions on our side. So certainly, it should be a balanced agreement on goods.
No, you're saying it should be a balanced trade agreement, Dr. Vadhavan, but the fact is there is a certain asymmetry of power here. America is coming from a position of strength. Donald Trump talking about deadlines and promising reciprocal tariffs across the board from the 2nd of April. India coming into these negotiations, therefore, under some amount of pressure. Does this make it more difficult for us to get what we want, our asks on pharmaceuticals, for services, for example?
I think that asymmetry is somewhat exaggerated, and it will be in many ways a psychological disposition that might be there, but I don't think in principle there's a major asymmetry. Let us say, for instance, that we are not able to reach a trade agreement, or we are not able to give the US side a certain confidence at this stage for them to put out the reciprocal duties. Even then, the heavens will not fall for us. The tariffs will have some impact, and then, of course, we'll have no option but to put our own reciprocal duties. So that will have a certain impact on their exporters also.
But do you see, therefore, a comprehensive bilateral trade agreement coming into place by the autumn of this year, as is being suggested by some? Because even you negotiated during Trump 1.0, it didn't work out then. Do you see a bilateral trade agreement happening in this specific case, or are we heading for extreme uncertainty in the next 6 months?
See, I see a limited goods deal happening by the autumn, and that should, I think, resolve many of the concerns the Americans have with regard to access to our market. I see that happening, but they must, put the reciprocal duties on one side. Just imagine a scenario. Let us say they put reciprocal duties on 2nd April. What option do we have? We certainly can't live with the option that, okay, let them be in place, and now we're going to negotiate a trade deal. At the end of the day, trade deal, they might come off. The only option we'll have at that stage is to respond with similar duties on our side. So the Americans should understand that these reciprocal duties are not compatible with a trade deal negotiation done in good faith.
So may I ask you in conclusion, the best case scenario, how do you see these trade talks, crucial trade talks between India and the US building over the next week and, dare I say, over the next few months? What's the best case?
I think the best case scenario for us is to make it very clear to the Americans that we are serious about a good faith negotiation that quickly gives an outcome on the goods, agreement. And given that the reciprocal duties have no place in that arrangement, because you can't have a situation where we are negotiating a trade deal and in the interim we are facing reciprocal duties. It will not be acceptable, for us. For various reasons, we can't accept that. So we must convince them that put this reciprocal business aside and let's quickly negotiate a trade deal that gives you all your ambition that you want on goods and gives us something in return, and take it from there.
So the hope, therefore, what you're saying is there could be a win-win deal. Focus on the bilateral trade agreements. Do not get tangled into a reciprocal tariff war. Well, we hope that Donald Trump is listening to you, or those in the Trump administration there, Dr. Vadhavan, former Commerce Secretary of India. Let's turn to tonight's Get Real India stories. Stories that we get you from different parts of the country that often slip off the map. What do you do if a government doesn't listen to your needs? Well, people in a village in Uttar Pradesh seem to have decided enough is enough. So they've decided to collect funds on their own to build a bridge that they've been trying to get the government to build for years. Here is our Get Real India story from a village in Ghazipur.
They waited for the government to build a bridge. But when no help came, the people of Kayampur and Sona villages in Ghazipur decided to take things into their own hands. They started building the bridge across Mangai River through crowdsourcing. The foundation of the bridge was laid on February 25th, 2024 by Allahabad High Court Judge Justice Shekhar Kumar Yadav.
आज़ादी से लेकर अब तक देखने में यही आ रहा है कि जितने भी दलों के लोग यहाँ पे जीते हैं इस क्षेत्र के जनता को ठगने का काम किया है वोट लेकर।
The work is being done under the supervision of a retired engineer.
उस आदमी को त्याग मानूंगा जो मिलिट्री से रिटायर होकर और 10 लाख देने का काम किया और उस पुल का नींव को शेखर जी को बुलाकर शिलान्यास भी किया, रविंदर यादव।
At present, villagers use a temporary bamboo bridge which is rendered useless during rains.
जब बाढ़ ज़्यादा आ जाता है तो एक घंटे लेट हो जाता है, नाव से सफ़र करना पड़ता है, पानी इस गांव से उस गांव के हो जाता है तो एक घंटा लेट हो जाता है स्कूल जाने के लिए।
आज स्कूल बंद जाने के कारण सबसे बच्चों को जो सुविधा मिलेगी पढ़ने के लिए, गाजीपुर हॉस्पिटल जाने के लिए, गाजीपुर मुख्यालय जाने के लिए 40 किलोमीटर और समय का जो बचत होगा वो बहुत अपने आप में एक उपलब्धि होगा।
After videos of the bridge went viral, district authorities stepped in.
तो उस पुल की क्या स्ट्रेंथ है और क्या ये पीडब्ल्यूडी के विभागीय नियमों के तहत बनाया जा सकता है और उसकी गुणवत्ता क्या है ताकि किसी प्रकार की कोई एक्सीडेंट ना हो, कोई पब्लिक सेफ्टी को लेकर के कोई बात ना हो, इसको हम लोग चेक कराएंगे।
People of the villages, which are dominated by the Yadav community, claim that the bridge is a proud example of self-reliance. With Vinay Kumar Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
A bridge too far at the moment. Let's turn to our fact check segment. A photo of a man at an IPL match holding a poster featuring offensive language directed at the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb is making rounds on social media. The photo shows a Chennai Super Kings fan in a yellow jersey holding an anti-Aurangzeb poster. An India Today fact check found that this image was digitally altered. AI Sana has more.
You are watching Fact Check segment where we bust fake news. Amid the ongoing controversy over Aurangzeb's grave in Maharashtra, a photo of a man at an Indian Premier League (IPL) match holding a poster featuring offensive language directed at the Mughal Emperor is making rounds on social media. The photo shows a Chennai Super Kings fan in a yellow jersey holding an anti-Aurangzeb poster. India Today Fact Check found that this image was digitally altered. The original photo shows film director Ratna Kumar, a Chennai Super King fan, holding a poster with admiring words for cricketer Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Hence the photo is fake. This fact check on viral fake news is done by India Today's team Afa. This is AI Sana signing off.
Okay, let's turn to our good news today's story as we end the show. It's coming from Kashmir where the badam, the almond, is blooming. The Badamwari garden in Srinagar is a big hit this spring season with the tourists. Take a look.
Kashmir is blooming. After a long hard winter, the Badamwari garden is now truly a garden of almonds. Nestled in the foothills of Kohemaran Hills, the 14th century garden in Srinagar is famous for its magical vistas and almond fragrance.
अभी ब्लूम हुआ नहीं है यहाँ पे, but still it's so good. यहाँ आके इतना अच्छा लग रहा है, सुकून है, शांति है.
Flowers are really nice, and for him this is the first time for snows and all this, like, so it's kind of like a new experience for him as well.
The garden will soon get bigger. The floriculture department is adding lavender gardens from next year, which will be an added attraction and give a longer spring experience for tourists.
बादामवारी का जब अभी लोग आते थे तो तभी आते थे जब यहाँ पे फूल होते थे, लेकिन हमने अब लिवेंडर यहाँ पे इंट्रोड्यूस किए हैं, लिवेंडर गार्डन हम बना रहे हैं.
While Srinagar's famous tulip garden has become the biggest spring advertisement of Kashmir tourism, the almond alcove of Badamwari is not far behind. The garden has attracted hundreds of tourists this year.
So this is absolutely stunning, scintillating scenes as far as spring season in Kashmir is concerned, and in that Badamwari, obviously because of this beautiful almond bloom, is a top choice of majority, and tourists who are right now coming to Kashmir make sure that they come to this almond garden. Cameraman Tariq Lone, Meet Farid, Srinagar for India Today.
Lovely images from Srinagar. Now to an image of the day, which some may feel is a bit problematic. I'll tell you why in a moment. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta's convoy stopped on a flyover in Delhi as the Chief Minister stepped out on seeing some stray cows. Now nothing wrong with that, but the fact is, as the Chief Minister instructed her officials to find a shelter for the cows, it was the Aam Aadmi, the ordinary citizen, who had to wait patiently. The entire road was blocked. There was a traffic jam because the Chief Minister was trying to find or telling her officials to find a shelter for the cows. Take a look at that traffic jam and then ask yourselves, sometimes VVIPs need to put the Aam Aadmi's interests ahead of those of the cows. I hope the lesson is learned. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubhratri. Jai Hind. Namaskar.